How did you get into the sport of gymnastics, Greg?
Well, in college I was a diver. Not a very good one, but nonetheless a diver. And so I took a gymnastics class to kind of help with my diving, and got really intrigued by it, and wound up actually competing a little bit AAU, especially on vault and floor, which were probably the most similar, to my diving. But I eventually kind of got in and played with all the events. And then when I went to do my master's degree, they needed a faculty advisor for the gymnastics club, and so I wound up, accepting that position and doing a little coaching while I continued to compete a little bit, and that's how I kind of got into it.
What was it about the sport that kind of drew you away from your previous sport of diving?
Well, it was the same principles, but in a larger stage, if you will. I mean, you apply them in a variety of different ways on different apparatus. So, I guess I had grown up diving my whole life, and so probably, it kind of intrigued me because it was, as I said, the same principles, but applied in different ways.
Tell me a little bit about Greg the gymnast as opposed to Greg the gymnastics coach.
Beginner. I mean, it was really, pretty basic stuff. It was a long time ago, and it was just something that was fun for me and new and different, and so I got pretty involved in it for a while. And then actually I took a break. I taught in the public schools for a year, and ultimately wanted to not coach. I wanted to teach at the college level. So I came to Utah to work on a doctorate degree in sports psychology, and just happened to be teaching a 1-hour activity class here, and Title IX had been passed, and they had to start a varsity women's program, and I happened to be the guy here teaching just a 1-hour activity class, and so they asked if I'd help them, start it. So we put an ad in the newspaper, and wound up, I think, with 7 athletes that just walked into the gym and answered the ad, so to speak. And but we wound up going to nationals that year and finishing 10th. So
how I mean, going from almost a physical education teacher to a head coach of a program, how were you able to accomplish that?
Well, it was I tried to apply my sports psych background, and so it was much more about working with people and coaching from that perspective. I did have the diving background, so I knew the principles, and I just went to every clinic I could, and just tried to learn as much as I could about gymnastics as quickly as I could.
So from there, at what point did you kind of realize, all right, this is something that I'm pretty good at, and it's going to be part of my life forever, probably?
Well, not for a while. I really thought for a while I would just do this while I finished my graduate degree, and then I'd go on and just teach psychology, sociology, sports somewhere at some university. And probably after about the 3rd year, we were 10th and then 9th and then 6th, and I kind of got this feeling that we had something going here, and so I began to focus more on coaching gymnastics and finishing my degree. And and then we were 4th and then 2nd, and then we won 6 in a row, and I was hooked.